Welcome back to the Scilife Academy. It's time for another training session. In this lesson, you will learn how to conduct audit activities. Check out the next slide for an overview of the audit process and where we will focus our attention. Let's get started. To ensure a successful audit, the auditor must carefully plan each step of the process, including conducting audit activities. There are two different approaches, individual or series parallel. When an auditor conducts an audit, the audit proceeds sequentially. In a parallel audit, each auditor focuses on different areas of the auditee. These audits are called series parallel audits. During the audit process, the auditor asks the questions and collects the records and observations that will demonstrate if the processes meet the QMS requirements. It is important to remember that an auditor is there to try to verify that a process conforms to the requirements set out, not to dig until fault is found. Guides and observers are participants in the audit process who assist the audit team in conducting the audit. An audit guide is an individual from the audited organization, from outside the organization, or from the regulatory authority who provides assistance to the team leader during the audit process. On the other hand, observers are individuals who attend the audit but do not participate in the audit process. Guides and observers may provide input, but they cannot influence, interfere, or make decisions about audit planning, conducting, and reporting. Any audit starts with an opening meeting with the auditee management and personnel involved in the audit. The purpose is to agree the audit plan, objectives, scope, and audit criteria, introduce the audit team members, guides and observers to the auditee and explain their roles and responsibilities, request necessary resources, and discuss the programs, processes, functions, projects, and products that will be covered. All scheduled audit activities are discussed to avoid any potential misunderstanding. As part of the opening meeting, formal channels of communications are established and a language is decided, either with or without an interpreter. During audits, effective communication within the team, with the auditee and external parties is vital, especially for regulatory audits. The audit team leader should keep the auditee and audit client updated on progress, findings, and significant risks identified during the audit. If audit evidence indicates unattainable objectives, the audit team leader reports to determine necessary actions, potentially adjusting planning, objectives, scope, or ending the audit. The audit methods are defined in the audit plan, depending on the audit objectives, scope, resources, duration, location, and many more factors. For example, an audit may be performed close to the auditee or could be performed offshore, which requires more time. The way an auditor handles information, data, and evidence gathered in an audit to support a finding is key. In addition to interviewing the auditee, analyzing the data, and testing, the auditor can collect information in other ways as well. All audit information, including findings, conclusions, and recommendations, should be stored securely and accessible to all team members. In order to determine whether the auditee's quality system meets the standard and audit criteria, the audit team should look and keep evidence of documented information. This information and data is critical to support any finding regarding a specific audit objective. It is important to verify and validate audit information and evidence. Audit evidence supports a decision regarding an audit objective. It enables the audit team to verify the information they have collected is accurate and valid, as well as to ensure that the audit findings can be relied upon. Audit evidence must be reliable and valid in order to be used to make audit findings. This means that the evidence must be collected in a reliable and valid manner, and that the criteria used to compare the evidence is accurate and valid. Audit findings can be generated after the evidence of nonconformity collected has been analyzed by the audit team. Audits require a proper preparation of closing meetings. The closing meeting is the final meeting with the auditee. In this meeting, the findings, recommendations, and opportunities for improvements are presented to the auditee. The auditor shares conclusions and determines if there is agreement with the auditee. It's also a good time to discuss any recommendations and set up an audit follow-up. Conclusions should relate the findings of the audit criteria, highlighting effectiveness and identifying risks associated with quality management systems. In addition, conclusions should address the effective implementation, maintenance, and continuous improvement of quality management systems, the achievement of audit objectives, and the coverage of audit scope. The final meeting is the final step in the process. It is the audit team's responsibility to discuss audit findings and conclusions with the auditee in order to increase the level of confidence in the audit results. Misunderstandings need to be addressed and clarified. The objective is to agree on a schedule and action plan to address these findings. That's all. Thank you for attending this course. I hope you found it useful and that it has met your learning expectations. See you in other courses at the Academy as you continue your educational journey with Scilife.